What's up, tribe? Thank you for being here and welcome to my channel. This is another post from Matias de Stefano's blog. This one's titled The Fear, and it came right after Darkness. So if you'd like to check that out, either check out the blog. You can either read it in yosoy.red or find it in the playlist, in Matias de Stefano's playlist on my channel. And it's a dialogue between his higher self and him, so I'll be referring to Matias as me and to his higher self as I am. Me, I kept thinking about yesterday. There are several things to meditate and work on. The sacrum is the generator of all our emotions, and for the same reason, it is also where there is the greatest distortion, where the greatest amount of low emotions accumulate, which we usually hide in the shadows for fear of facing them. I recognized then that these emotions are our filter to perceive the world, which, due to this polarity that we have in the sacrum, we contemplate it in duality, good and bad, black and white, night and day, light and shadows. And also, I understood that the shadows are the product of light, that the negative and positive aspects are actually projections of the same thing. Thus, understanding that both forces are useful for creation and transformation helps us to free ourselves from the struggle, both internal and external. But still, I see the injustices of the world, the evils of some humans over others, and I don't know how to put that love into practice, how to forgive or love those who voluntarily cause so much pain in others. I am, because again, what you see is the damage that it does, and not the damaged child that's inside. A violent person is the product of a violent environment. An abuser is the product of abuse. A pedophile is the product of repression. A tyrant is the product of a lack of inner power. A conflictive is a product of a conflict. What you do is judge the fruit of the tree when it is the soil that was lacking in nutrients. Every time you tell a child what is right and what is wrong, you create in him a scale of values that represses a part of him in favor of a vision imposed by the external world. Try to survive by imitating. Sometimes we do not realize how much damage we cause someone by saying, "What you say is wrong. Shut up. You are wrong. You are useless. Don't be silly. You do it wrong." A frustrated artist can end up creating genocide. A starving child can create a tribal war that creates more hunger. A child without love can wage a revolution of hate. A child who felt cheated can become corrupt. I do not ask you to forgive the atrocities that they have carried out. I ask you to hug that child, to heal his pain, to look into the eyes of those who do the most damage, and with a smile on your face, caress the cheek of that suffering child that is inside him. A child repressed in stagnant emotions that, due to his inability to express, hurts everyone around him. Me. And what happens when you've already done the damage? I am. Darkness is the distortion of light. It is the dissonance of the harmonic vibration. It is the breaking of the patterns and the knots in the matrix network. All arise from the expression of internal code negative towards the external code positive. They both create polarities that are expressed in thousands of ways, but at times they alter, overload, collapse, and explode, creating chaos. Thus, you understand that each person is like a battery with enormous potential to illuminate their environment. But if that battery generates a lot of energy and never has the possibility of expressing that light, all its power will seek an outlet. And without measuring the consequences, it will create chaos and destruction. Those people who do so much harm to humanity are children with great potential that has not been channeled correctly. In other words, that released energy created destruction, and the task of those around them is to bring them back to balance their positive and negative. And the way it is done is by adjusting the polarities. Adjust comes from the word fair, which gives rise to the word and concept of justice. Me. So on the one hand, we cannot judge them, but accept them with unconditional love. But on the other, you tell me that if they destroy, justice is needed. How do you understand? I am. What do you think justice is? Me. Well, the judicial system is the one that tries to put order and punish those who do things outside of what is established by law. I am. Interesting. And who decides the laws and the punishment? Me. They should be fair people who know about laws, who seek equity. I am. There's a problem here. And it is that what you call equity and law changes according to the culture and the moment. The interpretation of the environment. Slavery was legal. Having a woman as property was legal. For a black man to enter a common bathroom was illegal. For children to work in factories and mines was legal. Homosexuality was illegal. Marrying minors was legal. And even in several countries, all this has not changed. Who defines what is fair? Me. Morality? I am. And morality is not a product of culture? You, to begin with, are an example of immorality in all aspects of your life for all religions and some moralists. Me, it's true. I am. So what morals correct? Me, well, there are things that almost all of us can agree on, which is the freedom of the other, not to kill, harm, or abuse others. I am. That is a human communion, yes, defending life. So, abortion is wrong. Me, Well, it depends. I am. If it depends, then it is no longer a communion. Do you understand now that what is right and what is wrong always depends? Those who were attacked by evil would not hesitate to attack their enemies, respond with battle. Everything we do and prosecute is measured by the yardstick of my own perspective. What you consider immoral or unnatural for others is natural. Let's go to history. In various periods of history, at least between AD 34 and AD 1900, Christians continued to fight in wars where it was considered that heretics had to be killed in the name of God, even thinking that the natives had no soul. During the Viking period, the Norse believed that the only way to get to Valhalla with Odin was in battle, fighting and killing. Islamic terrorists believe that by committing an act of terror, Allah will await them with many versions in heaven as a reward for their bravery. And you think that punishing the one who did something wrong makes you just, because you have made the one who made you suffer. Doesn't that make you someone who hurts? Me, yes, sure. I am, for this reason, speaking of justice as an act of reward and punishment will always depend on the perspective in which you find yourself. Therefore, the proposal is adjust, recorrect the positive and negative in those people. Me, and how is that done? I am. There are several steps, but the first thing is to do it with yourself. Judge yourself. Look in the mirror. Think about all the bad things you've done in your life since you were almost a baby. I'm sure you've done things you shouldn't, according to your current morals. Now think about whether you would do those same things again today. If the answer is no, it means that you have learned, which implies that you can change, transform, transcend. And if I can ask you how you have learned it, you will surely tell me that because they have made you see it, they caught your attention. You may even have been punished. There's a reaction in which you interpret that what you have done is wrong, but inside you, a resentment remains. Why is it wrong? That question is the only one that really frees you from regret. Punishment shows you what is commonly wrong, but questioning yourself leads to understanding, which makes you leave the idea that it was wrong to enter the concept of, I did not know it was not fair. People who act maliciously know no other way. Educating them in other ways is essential. Your punishment system does not work because it only generates repression and separates the waters between brothers who do not understand each other. Me. Why is fear injustice? I am. Because the human judges what he fears. What you feel can kill you, create conflicts for you. What you cannot control, what you do not understand. what escapes your hand, what can turn against you, what is chaotic for you, what confronts you with his need to survive. All this is fear, and therefore he must limit it through the idea of morality and justice. This can be seen on a social level, but it is even worse in each of us. Culturally, humans were castrated, their genitalia were imprisoned, repressing all energy of potentiality, limiting it through fear, bathing the engine of life and transformation with moralities. Most of human conflicts stem from your own injustice with the energy of your genitals. Me. In the genitals is the potential to create, as well as the strength to defend ourselves, the will to move forward and remain strong in the world, in our life. I am. The fruit of your life comes from the energy of the genitals. Imprisoned in morality, it becomes fear. For all struggle and survival force comes from the testosterone produced in the testes and ovaries, as in animals which fight for territory to mate. Every power struggle is born from the fear of losing, of dying, of not transcending. Society tried to control this through sexual and moral repression, causing this conflict to pass to the higher chakras, invading the mind, heart, and plexus, turning the struggle of the internal potency into a social struggle of one against the other, of ideas and intentions. When testosterone does not fulfill its free genital function, it rises to the head, turning a genius into a despot. Me. So the basis of all our actions is based on fear. I am. As long as your actions are from the unconscious. Yes. Me. And how do I know if I do it from the unconscious? I am. The unconscious reacts. The conscious acts. The difference is that the former takes action and energy as an external and opposing force impels it to move. It has no force of its own. It is the environment that tells it what to do, what to think, what to believe, what to fear. Fear is the first emotion of nature, the one that shapes our entire scale of values. It is the foundation of our culture and civilization. It is the one that tells us what is right and what is wrong. Fear, then, is useful, since thanks to it, we do not jump into an abyss, knowing that we will kill ourselves. And it is also thanks to it that we do not push anyone into the abyss for fear of the consequences of the act. Fear is a perfect mechanism for survival and order. For this reason, those who became distorted and misaligned use fear to control others. Well, it's the easiest, the handy tool for anyone. Creating visible or invisible enemies places them in a place of safety. Creating conspiracies places them in a place of irresponsibility. Me. And how do I get rid of fear? I am. Oh no. You don't have to free yourself from fear. No. Fear is very useful. Fear makes you who you are. It has built you in every cell of your being. You owe everything to fear. Me. I don't understand. How do I do? I am. You just have to live your fear from consciousness. and stop living it from unconsciousness. Fear is a useful emotion that helps you to continue, to move forward, that shows you the safe ways to fulfill your purposes. When you are unconscious, fear is what keeps you alive. The fear of fire helps me not to burn myself. But watch your reaction when there's a fire near your hand. Without thinking, your whole body will react by protecting itself. Well, to make your fear conscious is to identify what hurts the common, what is distorted, what causes me fear and disagreement, and instead of reacting with anger, judgment, and pointing out or punishing, I am about to educate, to give them a purpose, to design a just system where the common useless becomes useful for everyone, especially for himself. Me, give a purpose to what you were afraid of. I am. Darkness is the creator of life because it has designed through emotions the basis of everything we are. For this reason, the dark ones, the devil, and all the entities in which you decide to believe, bad aliens, reptilians, all, live on your unconscious fear, thus very easily controlling the universal matrix that feeds on this fear. Well, remember, fear is the energy of your genitals, which with testosterone is capable of creating life. That is, the dark ones only think about continuing to create forms, worlds, realities, and they need fear to do so. For this reason, our normal reaction is to judge them. It is to want to eliminate them, because in reality, we are afraid of them, since we consider them a threat to our security. But if you become conscious, you will use this fear to create solutions instead of punishments. Me, I remember that in Bali, Indonesia, people put fruits and flowers on the doors of houses and temples. And when I asked who they were for, they told me they are offerings for the demons, so that they feel honored and respected, and they don't hurt us. I interpreted that this was the most coherent thing I had heard in my life. I am, well, what is a demon or evil person, if not more than a being trying to attract attention? Every person who uses fear to dominate others uses it because it is the only tool they know, and therefore, fear is what they feel most in their guts. He is a child with fear. Learn to control your fear, and you will be able to bring justice to the world. Now tell me, what is your fear? Me, when I close my eyes, one of my greatest fears in life is that none of this is real. I am afraid of dying and that there will be nothing. Eternal loneliness, nonsense, oblivion. I am, and perhaps because of this, you have taken that fear and giving a meaning to existence with the purpose of remembering that we are not alone. Me, I've never thought about it like this. I am. I will spare you the fear. Nothing exists. Everything is in your imagination, which is so powerful that it is capable of creating wonderful realities. What is a madman, if not more than an artist? The universe is nothing more than a child with an infinite capacity for imagination. When you die, there will be no more than that. Do not be afraid to imagine. Do not fear what is real and what is not, because your ability to manifest lies in your infinite ability to imagine. Me, so I must use my own fear to create, like my genitals. You are afraid of what they will think of you, of not being understood, of being rejected, of being forgotten. Me, I do. I am. Well, use that fear to expand your ability to think, your ability to explain, your ability to feel full with yourself, your ability to remember what you're capable of. Adjust your own energy. The fears of the world live in you. Use them, balance them, become aware of them because they have created you, and find within yourself the infinite possibility of educating the quote-unquote unjust. Me, the only real justice is the education of being. I am, well, every being carries within it a child with fear and out of adjustment. Me, so I put my intention to be fair and educate what is in me. I am. Face your fears and weaknesses, and you will find your potentialities. Me, I am the potential. I am the fruit of fear that has created my life. I am balance, seeking to be fair. I am, and in me you will find divine justice.